Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
So the first thing on the agenda is the SB Spark Awards, and SB it's an award that's given to students who are doing well academically and have an exceptionally positive attitude about school. They show courage by not conforming to peer pressure and refuse to accept any of these students by celebrating their success at the beginning. Meet each of the board members, and their names are announced on the web and in the district newsletter, drawing for some kind of prize out of the people that are awarded that. And with that, tonight. So when your name's announced, if you just please come forward.
Okay, first up from high school, Sheila Wright. Next from high school, Lewis Scott. Okay, from the junior high, Lincoln Towery. Foster.
Great.
Bring it in, buddy. Foster again, Bruce Shannon. Durbin.
Again, come welcome Branch Lynn. Thank you. Okay. Oh, Annabelle Lord. Graduate. Okay, I'm older. Okay, it's me, Sawyer Smith. Shadow? Down. No.
Good job, Andy.
Good job.
Good job, Alan.
And I just said, the first one, accurate. Okay. Good job. If it got an award would come forward and face back that direction. We're gonna get a picture for the newspaper.
Come on up and stand tall.
Yes.
Big smiles right here.
One more.
Oh.
That's okay. All right, once again, big smiles. Good job.
Yeah, my daughter.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Good job, everybody. Good job.
Good job, everyone. We realize this is a school night and you can certainly feel free to leave at this time. Which is.
Mike, we've got special awards
Yeah.
next.
Yeah, I see
If
that.
I can come out to do that, I'd like to.
What, you
Like-
will? Yeah.
If that's
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm just gonna wait for everybody to clear out. How's DOJ treating you?
Good. That's at least my problems. All the other stuff that pays, you know?
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. And isn't that the truth?
Yeah, it's true.
That's very true.
How are you guys? Yeah,
Well, I got 6 years from the military. I'm still working 4 days a week.
that's right.
The city. Well, and at this time, Carrie's gonna come up and there's some other recognitions on the agenda.
So if Eternity and Chris Allison could both come forward, please. So come on. So as with a safety situation, and Eternity is the one that about a threat to our school district. Eternity showed it to her father, and together they took it to the police department. And that meeting around 8, in which we had a police department to avert what could have been a really bad situation. And so it is with great appreciation that life-saving certificate for the district and some swag and a thank for Chris. And then in another event, Hannah Lovick, Hannah's here, come forward. And Tony JJ. Those on the last name. How do you pronounce it?
No, Jim, say.
And Josh, are we queued up? I'm actually gonna show you what happened Wednesday. Wednesday of last week, during the normal lunch. Hannah or excuse me, not Hannah, Noni works at the junior high. Hey Josh, we are going to be looking right here. Is that right? So this- and we're looking at essentially three people here. Numbers for the students. So Josh, if you will. So this student here starts to choke, as you can see him bending over, cough. Student still choking, Noni hears, runs over there. And watch her on her return now. Just lugs it back, everything's okay. Back to her job. If that's not in over, as soon as she became aware the student was in danger, was it 2 numbers or 1?
2.
2. We do sound 1. So for Noni, we have a life-saving award.
Next, we have, which we're looking at a revised agenda. So any,
So moved as.
all eyes. Aye,
Aye. Those opposed?
nays. That personnel reports, comments, I see Steve here, certified. Whoever wants to go first.
Okay, go ahead, Robert.
After voting coming up, what else can I say for classified? We're here for the kids to serve and protect them. What more can we say?
Thank you.
You guys are saying. Hey, I see the Holly Church gifts here. I don't know who here goes to Holly Church, but I sent an email out to them, thanking them for their gift outreach. You know, it's a really cool thing that they do in the community. I wanted to commend, I know that it was Harry and Kevin maybe and Ralph and how, you know, they have a manual. Step one, do this in case there's exactly what to do. And I gotta tell our district in the board that I sure appreciate how that was fishing. It wasn't one of those things. This was something that you know, and then the call not to go that Friday, I think but then I got to talk about the resilience. Our kids came back. Hats off to the administration and to our teachers for how they handled that. So you know, I think that's pretty darn cool, and it's where we live right now. I wanted to let you guys know the different things that's going on right now. Hawthorne, I don't know where you come up with doing a coin for kids to help a couple of other third grade class, you know, and they're doing their Socktober, trying to get over, trying to beat 400 items. It's something they read Wild Robot, and then they loaded the kids up and took them down to the popcorn and had a great time. And you know, Holly School is they have a small garden club, and they're harvesting pumpkins. I believe the place is called Adaptive. The entire school is going to get those seeds and return them back to Adaptive Seed. And Joanna did tell me they had a super soup contest. And I do have to point out Okites. They kind of have to be the rock stars right now, working in construction. I remember when I worked in construction here, you know, and you can't sign the weather. You don't know what's going to happen, but they've been doing a great job. And there, the junior high, he told me about, they have a legally blind student that's running cross country, help them out and to do that. They know more than 4 tardies in a week, and there's no punishment if you have 90% issues. Was it last week?
Yeah,
This past week. Pretty incredible when you start holding to a standard that's going to be required of you when you go to work one day. We're one of the few places that still do tardies. I don't know if you're aware of that. Some schools, they don't mess. It's a headache. It's a pain in the butt. And, you know, that's one of the good things. And something else about the junior high, their football team has not had an ineligible athlete this year. So that's working with kids and how kids are putting pressure on each other to do what they're supposed to do. We just finished a homecoming. You know, it's my second favorite week. It has been since I was a student. Had a great homecoming week. May week's my first. It's the best. But they had a homecoming powder puff. The bonfire was incredible. I think the freshmen won homecoming. They are an energetic 218 or 219 kids of energy. And did they win? Yeah. But the freshmen come in like that.
But she didn't say no.
No. But I don't know if any of you guys had a chance to do it there, and I was standing there and I watched their first, our last, when the kindergartners lined up, or if you've seen any of the videos on Facebook, they just, okay. And all the kindergartners and their teachers, and some of those kids were scared, and these seniors, and to watch them as they get closer, start kneeling down to get to their level. And I think it's just a cool thing. That we had the entire stands and got to watch and celebrate those kids. You guys, I hope, and I'm sure you do, but I hope, and I can say it now because I'm a lot older than I used to be. A little older than Florida, but not very much, just a little. But this place keeps amazing me. It's just how we keep coming up with things is really cool. I also say I think I need to apologize because for saying the stinking kids when I'm talking about our champion program. When I say stinky kids, I don't mean that. Just like if I call a kid a turd, I don't think he's a piece of pieces, you know, or a pot licker. I get a little woodsy. Probably should have said the kids it's hardest to love. is the ones, when I say stinky kid, I never do mean they're actually stink. So I apologize for that. And it takes a good friend to make me aware when I trip over myself. And it's not the first, won't be the last, but it's okay. But now when I called some parents chowderheads, maybe they are, but careful, right? So now the last one, and we're in good shape. This district is in good shape. We're going to scramble to get teachers and people having to, I've had some things, extra work and we're doing well. And, and we were talking, and part of that, he's been through more super. So we want to stay right now. And that's been very, very cool. So thank you on behalf of this. Now don't screw up. Do you guys have anything like that? We're off to a pretty good start. At the next meeting we have, we're going to have a new president, and who that president is, if it's Harris or if it's Trump, you know what? We're going to show up on Monday, and we're going to keep doing what we've been doing. Kids, it's not going to change my focus on how I live my life. And you've got some pretty incredible teachers and some great administrators in this district that there to serve kids, and we love what we do, and we're proud we get to be a part of it. So it's gonna, or what you are or how you believe or where you sit, that you're still gonna get the care all deserve. So okay, is there any questions for me? All right, I appreciate it. So thank you guys, and don't screw up.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, we'll see you guys. Yeah.
Next, we have the student report from our student representative.
This September, October, like executive just finished our homecoming, and I'm very proud to report that we have record numbers to come hang out with the music. That is nearly half of our student body. It's also like 50 more kids than we had last year, which was first blood drive of the year, which went extremely well. I believe we went nearly 100 meters over their benchmark, and so that actually was a huge jump in student activities. We have 220 students signed up for fall for the year. That is huge compared to last year. Lifers have also been enormous. We had 850 plus people show up to our powder level, and that was amazing to see. My first year Lawrence Assembly are just so many people legitimately as much love and support for those kids in our career day next week. We have like 50 plus people coming with different careers and different perspectives that are going to be at our school, and just giving everyone an idea of what we have available in our town and beyond it. We also have our food drive, our canned food drive, and I believe pounds of canned food and about $3,000. So nearly, about 1,000 more than what we were hoping for last year, because it was just so last year. We had so many parents show up, and all those kids that didn't have parents show up, or that could just take over. And I don't think out of those 220 that anyone did not get on direction. And so seeing our halls lined with that pride and that spirit is just super uplifting, especially as we have to myself. Any questions for me? You said it's school night.
It is a school night. You are free to go do your homework, which I'm sure is what you have on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. As Steve said earlier, the ambassadors are here from Holly Church. Sure. And so that is a really cool thing. On the enrollment, we're trending down. We've been talking about this for quite some second full page, I guess it'd be the fourth. Reason we bring this up every single meeting is this is directly tied to the funding down. That correlates with our funds at the smaller elementary classes, specifically with the 7th grade on. We're closer to 200 than we are 150 or kinder classes, 131 and 143. So right off the bat, we're 50, 60 students down. Then we have we have students in homeschooling. That was accelerated with the safety issue that we went to like school kind of retreat when those things are happening. And then there's a steady flow back and forth with Lebanon on a pretty regular basis too. But I just want to point out that is, this time last year, we're at 2264. And so that is a significant drop there. So we'll continue to keep that with budget messages from Kevin. Division 22 requirements, before these are the 55. And before have the documentation that we are in compliance, all across the board's compliance C is going up. And so it's not enough to show such as that. So this will become a regular part of our meetings.
Thank you. So I just wanted to share a little bit about division required by the Oregon Legislature or the State Board of Education for every school district. So these requirements are codified in Chapter of the Oregon Administrative Rules and post to their community on our school website or our district. Sharing with you tonight the 2023-24 Division 22 assurances, and they're in your packet. So I'm pleased to share that the Sweet Home School did some issues in our past where we've had to really check our P's and safety. And as you've heard tonight, safety is a huge priority. Daryl Bidwell, the Director of Transportation, his department oversees. Mr. Bidwell.
Hi, guys. How are we doing this fine afternoon? Everybody's quiet. Division 22 standard for us is the 1 staff to 60 kids compliance. So each month, Mr. Martin and Mrs. Ray off the wagon here on that part of it, but we gladly took it back. And as far as that goes, staff in each building, and it is read that we went one better, and we post that at the increase to each school, we are certified. Now in transportation, everybody in transportation is certified because that's an Oregon state law. Each building is well over compliance, staff to student ratio. And I can tell you that we're doing fantastic in compliance. And the staff have really stepped up this year in their admin about, we just got to make sure everybody in our staff is might as well make sure everybody else. Any questions about that? Perfect, thanks.
Thank you, Daryl.
And next we have the strategic plan progress.
Page 8, 23-24 assessment results. And we have two tables there, English efficiency, just looking through them. Holly, Oak Heights, arts all increased. And language arts. On the math portion, we have that same trio. You'll recall probably last year was a big topic of discussion efficiency. They've increased to 12% proficiency. We're showing a positive trend. But we have to, that has to continue. Arts, 43%, 43.8 in 23-24. Again, going the right percentage of that. This is all test or measurement of error. It's a snapshot of that particular training. We hope that that will continue, but we still have work to do.
Any questions for Terry?
So new training.
It was a statewide training day on the 11th across many areas. And we will continue with curriculum training. We will continue with professional development to them. Basically as much training as anyone wants with the new curriculum that we have, because it's a pretty robust selection.
That the math curriculum, the or both.
Both. Anything else on that one?
No.
Okay, the Thriving Citizen. We'll get a link out to the board. That ceremony Steve mentioned with the seniors meeting in the center of the field, students filling the stands, parents were all invited in the center. That's a legacy type, these things. We keep coming up with ways to improve and increase what we're doing. That was pretty special. And so if you get a chance to take a look at that, I encourage you to do so. On Thriving Community, the city and the police department, and I was as well on behalf of our school district team. They have the Sweet Home from the city on one side, Oregon on the other. So the city manager recognized us just for the work that we do together with them. The SRO said, focus, not worry about protecting campuses, but focus exclusively on apprehending the subject. And so they're very appreciative of that. Oak Heights on safe and welcoming. I was told that the front entrance was used today for the first time. Getting the gym all ready for both lunches and cafeteria and all. And so it's been a whiz, they will tell you, but we're nearing, I believe we're nearing. Josh, yes, the name's Mike.
Hey, weather that's coming? Very bright.
It better be.
Thank you. Next is a consent agenda. Approve the hire Rebecca Lay 425 school year. And the new item, approve the temporary hire of Foster Elementary for 24-25 school year.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have the budget update.
Item 6A in the board packet, I'll start with number, we spent just over $161,000 more than we had since on track to be within our budget. The primary reasons for the higher spending, one higher labor costs and also higher charges. I do want to touch, and Terry did his as far as talking about enrollment, because our revenues are directly tied to enrollment. So when we see that decline in enrollment, that is something that's concerning. One thing for this year, the state always pays us enrollment. And so for this year, we're okay. We won't be paid based on last year's enrollment number. But then if you kind of look into the future, and I would say that when you look at some of the school districts that are in the news for dealing with financial issues, one of the main reasons they're there is that they realize fast enough, the impact of declining enrollment. And so as a district, that is something that we need to look at. The thing is, compared to a lot of districts our size, I'd say that we tend to operate more lean. But with that said, knowing that our revenues will likely be cut over the next few months as we start planning for this year's budget, that we'll need to take a closer look at.
Have you heard any rumblings yet about change in the formula?
The legislature will be in session this spring. There's been some talk about some changes to the special ed formula, for instance, and we'll see how it plays out. Certainly being the district at 11% gap hurts us more than it hurts many school districts, and so it would be nice to see the state, the net impact of that is the student than most other districts. And so, we're in Portland and say that you went to Roosevelt, which is fairly high poverty, high special ed percentage high school, you would probably it's more money for the district to spend on its special education students. Well, essentially, that's what the state of Oregon is doing. That doesn't seem right. Since there's a cap, when you divide the total amount provided to our district by number. So.
They also were going to talk about maybe some of homelessness as being the folks are amiable to listening to that.
And I would say we as a district, you as a board, whatever you can do to advocate, because I have friends, you'll see that students that are, don't have a stable place to stay overnight are, the teacher teaching those kids. That's things. So.
I think said that the money that is from the previous enrollment, the previous year's enrollment that we get.
So the way the state school fund works is our application membership, which is similar, the number of students calculation on top of that. But what the state will do is take the higher. And so like if you were a district that lost a lot of students in 1 year, make adjustments, they use the last year's number, but that's 1 year. And so as you start to plan for the following year, you better make it just not. I think that's one of the issues where, the news there that some school districts and that contributes to it.
Property tax?
Okay, if you haven't already, if you go out to your mailbox, you will receive that statement. If you go online, you can see it right now. And just residents inside city limits of Sweet Home increase in your property tax bill of just over 11% this year. Compared to the question is why. And so if the next page under 6 tax rate, and you'll notice the biggest change that the tax rate increased by $1.55 per thousand. The second largest increase is a 37-cent per thousand increase for the bond that passed back in this past. The other changes are very small. As far as for the Sweet Home School District, our tax rate continued a long-term trend. It was less, it went down, but it was less than a penny per thousand that it went down. That show both the history of our bond rate, and you can see how it's been decreasing in rate where a few years ago, the board intentionally lowered it by 2 cents per thousand. And then our permanent rate, which is set by state law, is sort of the same.
Yeah, I don't see that in my packet. Does anybody wants? Yeah, see it? Have you seen that? Okay. Oh, what page is it? In the middle?
Either 10 from the back.
On the back, it's on the back side of the budget.
Yeah, I don't. Okay.
Any questions for Kevin? Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Next, we have board policies, and it says first reading. So I would, is there any discussion, any motions?
I found one thing I thought was kind of interesting, so, went on to look at that. The OAR 58102222220. And the policy that's presented, the proposed policy is nearly verbatim to the policy that the OAR, but it's not verbatim. So the proposal that I'm making is that we use the actual proposed by the OSBA.
What's different about it?
There were some pieces that were added and some pieces that were not, that said, for example, in policy number 3, I believe, outline a district, this is policy student health services. Number 3, outline a district to school communication plan, but the actual OAR detail in the OAR. Which I thought was interesting.
Well, you'll note in the. So you're saying that you're making the point that the OER is more detailed than the policy,
That's one of the points that I'm making.
but when you look at number 3 and it says there's the footnote 3, and then you look down for requirements of this plan, see OER. So the policies are referring you back to the OER.
Right, which to me just makes more sense that it's all included in one OAR. Because this is the OAR that it's referring to. And then,
Yeah, but it's pretty common. for
So the
government bodies.
OER gives latitude to each school district because they may need to be a little bit different because of how far they are, how close they are. What they do in Portland is not the same as what we do. If they're non-changeable, then it's a problem because we may need, we take buses 70. Okay, how far do we take it? 150 miles round trip. In Portland, they don't do buses. So what's say gonna be different than what they have in Portland or in someplace else. So we can't like strictly adhere to what's in a ORS plan. It has to be tailored to Sweet Home. So I think that's what we need. We need to make sure that whatever we're doing is tailored to us. That's why we don't want to strictly go by ORS. It has to be tailored to us because of.
And part of it is it's there in the ORS, but we want to adopt a policy that we're saying the governing body of the school district saying this is the standard for.
I don't believe that it's actually a communication plan. I think it's just guidelines distinction. This is first reading, correct?
Yeah.
Could I propose that we just compare individually the OAR to the proposed OSBA? And the only reason I'm saying that is because there are pieces within the proposal that are not in the OAR. Proposed OSBA policy has some pieces that are not in the OAR. That as a school board, we want to make sure that we're following rules, something that's not added to a rule. That's my concern in what I'm proposing.
And I guess maybe if you got to Kevin or Julie, maybe those OAR sections and highlighted
I could do
the
that.
ones that you have concerns
Oh,
over,
okay.
we'd have something to talk about
Yep.
next time.
So that's, so that when I made the proposal, what you're suggesting is that I highlight the differences and give it to them.
Yeah.
I can do that.
I just don't want to tie us into something that is hard and
I
fast.
think what Mary's saying is if the OSBA above and beyond what is actually required by the state, we want to be aware are different, then we want to make sure that those are in keeping with our spirit of our town before we vote them in. If they're different,
Well,
we want to be in compliance, we don't necessarily want to swallow everything that comes down. the pipe.
if they're adding or deleting something, but I still think we want to adopt a policy, maybe. But I don't know any local government that just adopts the OERs as their policy.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But-
so
but I-
just
but
look
I
at
get-
a comparison and then we can compare.
It has to be our policy.
And then, okay, got it.
As a board, feel like we need to do. for
Oh,
our-
oh, yeah, no,
For our town.
I think, and that's what we can do is look at the OER, look at the policy, compare the two and look
Yeah.
at what's added, what's deleted.
That'd be great. The second read.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
so is there a motion to approve the first reading?
As we move on to second reading.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it automatically moves on.
Yep.
Any action items? Does anybody have anything that they want to bring before the board, I guess?
Well, I've been thinking about a couple board meetings, like we gotta turn them a climate survey to give out to all the employees, staff, teachers, classified, certified, and kind of get a feel of what they think about their job and their boss and their district and their everything. And it can be anonymous, 0 through 5, strongly agree, strongly disagree, whatever. But I think with the strategic plan that we're supposed to be coming up with a new one here real soon, and quite honestly, why they're leaving like rats off a sinking ship. I mean, there's something wrong in this district. We got to figure out what it is. We got to figure out why kids don't want to come here, why their parents don't want to send them here. We got to figure out why the teachers, why they want. We need data. We need to put out a survey that we can use that data to help us formulate our strategic plan. So, and I don't want it to be a name calling session or a finger point. It's got to be very, very generic and very, but people need a chance. They have to need, because we need to know moving forward. So I propose that we form, as a board, we take this seriously and we form a committee, 3 or 4 person committee, not where it's everybody, so it gets so bogged. But I think we need to form a committee to write this thing up, whether we get somebody else's that they used and modify it a little bit, or whether we get something, start from scratch. I don't know. But I motion that we, as a board, form a committee to make this climate survey happen, so we can go about, trying to figure out if something's broken personally. But without data, we just don't know. And I know we talked about this a couple months ago and it kind of got run out of time. We gotta get this. So I have to make a motion, we decide.
Usually the strategic planning process as part of the strategic planning committee. They usually do that.
Fantastic. Let's do it now.
It takes outside.
I think we can have a survey anytime. I think the teachers they're teaching now. They're gonna be teaching 6 months from now. They were teaching 6 months ago.
But the strategic plan isn't just the teachers, the staff, the district, it's also the community.
Strategic planning meetings, and we can say 40% liked this, 50% didn't like this.
Right.
I think it's important.
That's what I'm saying. You want to include them in the data.
Well, I think
And that's usually
maybe,
part of
I think
the
maybe,
process.
I think maybe he's saying, I understand get a plan, but I think he's just asking for a climate survey of,
Apart from the.
apart from it. What I heard was anonymous military, you do the battalion and you do each of the companies, each of the schools, and
I don't have, I can't go out, I mean, I can go out to the community maybe, but I can't send out a community-wide members. We can ask the people that work for us or not necessarily work for us, what they think. How, are we doing a good job as a board? Are our administrators doing a good job? I think we need to know that when we do go into our strategic plan meetings. So we have a goal to shoot for, to make things better, because I know, obviously we were having some classified staff, and I think if we don't know what's wrong, we can't fix it. And the whole idea moving forward is to make things better,
I have a question.
yeah.
Steve was here earlier. And I think we're to see where they're at on this too.
Well,
Or do we not?
we'd probably have to need to approve the survey, I would think, but
But we don't have a survey to even ask them if they'd approve it.
right.
We should at least have input from Steve and from them if they think it's some, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out.
Every single month, how things are going. I think we have a strategic plan initiative ahead of us that has this already built in. I think we're getting the cart and horse mixed up. As Floyd said, there is a lot of misinformation. We're hiring less teachers every year than we have. And so, yeah, there's a lot of information that is available out there.
So we have a motion sold. I think that's a very important thing to do. Data drives decisions. So I'll second the motion.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So any nays?
Nay.
Or,
Or, so motion does not pass.
Okay.
Well,
I'm
are
not
we,
against it, I'm just against, I think before we, I think our folks that are doing this in the future are people that do this. And these where you ask questions of employees and you get no response at all. In the right setting, talking about the right question, strategic plan does is kind of make everybody feel at ease when they're talking about what I've seen. And I've been involved in quite a few.
I have as well. The ones that I've been a part of, the anonymity, sense of anonymity, you will get more people responding, and that's what I've seen.
Big ones like this, and I've seen,
live in the military.
Yeah, yeah.
And it is anonymous. And anonymity, you get a mix. I mean, I think you get a lot of people that believe that I think there are a lot of people who respond truthfully because of the anonymity. So,
My future and think it through, data would be really meaningful.
well, and I figured after that motion passed, so.
when is our strategic plan coming up?
December is when it kicks off officially. There's pre-work going on now for it.
Have we looked at contractor yet? Inside, and sometimes you have somebody that comes in and does it from the outside.
And there is something similar to it, is that what I'm hearing?
Has been passed.
Well, is there any other comments somebody wants to make before we move on? Any public comment? Fine. They all left because it's a school night. Any board comments? Hearing none, late items. And the future, looks like our next board of officers meeting is Friday, November 8th at 3:30, and the next board meeting is November 18th at this Veterans Day. So
Largest Veterans Day